everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we have a review because I haven't done very many of those lately. I've really slacked off. But as I mentioned in a recent video, I also been recuperating due to the fact that I done did my back. So I'd say I'm 99% healed. There's still a little bit of twinge going on, but I'm feeling good. I went to the movies this weekend. Obviously from the title we can see I saw Frozen 2, not so much because it was my choice, it was my belated birthday present to my 6-year-old niece, who I will just say, I asked her what she thought of the film and she said that she loved it, and I said, which one did you think was better, Frozen or Frozen 2? And her answer was Frozen 2. So obviously the question becomes, what did I think of the film, which is why you clicked on this video. And I know there have been plenty of Frozen reviews out lately and I'm sorry, but yes, this is another one. But I will also say before I get into the review, a congratulations to this person here who won the Charming Christmas giveaway. They have already been contacted via Twitter, and so congratulations to them. Thank you to everyone who entered. There was sadly a few scam accounts that got flagged, and so they were immediately removed from the running, and there were a couple that were deemed suspicious as well. And when I did check out their pages, if they had attached a social media page when they entered, it was sad that there were some whose accounts specifically all they do is enter giveaways. And they didn't seem like they were Charmed fans. They're just people who, or accounts that enter giveaways, and maybe it's to win things so that they can then sell them, I don't know. But that was really disappointing because I really wanted these items to go to real Charmed fans, and it seems like we managed to find one. So I'm really happy they've been contacted, and thank you again to everybody who entered, and congratulations to the winner. And don't worry, because there may very well be more giveaways in the future. Not necessarily Charmed related ones, but I'm a fan of a giveaway. So with that said, let us begin today's review. Frozen 2 is a 2019 American 3D computer animated musical fantasy film directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee, with a screenplay by Lee from a story by Buck, Lee, Mark E. Smith, Kristen Anderson Lopez, and Robert Lopez. It is the 58th animated film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios, and the sequel to the 2013 film Frozen. Set 3 years after the events of the first film, the story follows Elsa, Anna, Kristoff, Olaf, and Sven, who embark on a journey beyond their kingdom of Arendelle in order to discover the origin of Elsa's magical powers and save their kingdom after a mysterious voice calls out to Elsa. Full disclosure, I have openly disliked Frozen for the past 6 years, and I'm not ashamed to admit this. I hated the characters, the story, and majority of the songs bar 1 1/4. This means I went into this film with a great deal of apprehension, and perhaps that was a good thing because I left having gotten everything I hoped to get from the first film. What I'm trying to say is, I loved Frozen 2. Frozen 2 is a superior film in every way, shape, and form, and I was not expecting that. While I am a fan of a significant number of Disney animated sequels, most over the years have been lower in quality and most certainly didn't get big cinema releases. So to not only see a Disney animated sequel get a box office release, but be this good is a big deal. Now, while my technical nitpicking mind that hones in on mythology like Hercule Poirot to a crime scene has encountered some issues, and I will go over my problems shortly, I still have to say that this was an incredible film. The first film created characters that had nothing of interest to them, little development, and were unlikable, at least from my point of view. The story was subpar and not very interesting and had too many elements to it, with most contributing little. This film, on the other hand, is the opposite. All our main characters are back, and there is an undeniable evolution and growth to each and every character as we watch them go on this exciting journey full of mystery, intrigue, and discovery. Even new characters we meet along the way have a depth to them, and in turn are able to give more to the overall story. It was fascinating to follow, watching to see how the mystery would unravel, because while it seems very obvious, I have to admit that sometimes the story confused me, and so I questioned if my guesstimation was correct, or was I oversimplifying things? I wasn't. Elsa in the first film was not on any real journey. She was more just a character coming out of her shell. In this film, she She's a queen, she's learning about herself, her nature, her purpose, her heritage, and she's trying to at the same time protect her loved ones and her people, new and old. There is a lot on her shoulders, and so we see her go through this wonderful journey of self-discovery that ends with her being in a far better place than where she was at the end of the first film. We also see her go through yet another metamorphosis, and I think I love this one even more. Elsa may be the new reveal queen, and she managed to top her last performance, which is excellent. Last time I found her to be a terrible queen and role model, and this time around she is a wonderful role model. Strong, determined, vulnerable, and yet able to think of and care about the well-being of her people. Huge improvement. Anna is still a little ditzy, if I'm honest. I understand these are quirks of her character, but I can't say I find them amusing. But when she is on, caring for her people even though she's not in charge, and determined to have her sisters back. The bond between these sisters is fortified in this film, and it feels like the stakes for them are much higher, and because of that we're able to feel how intense that bond is. This film reinforces the fact that they are the only family the other has, and how they do need each other. Anna is smart and capable, and even when the chips are down, pushes through her own pain so she can do what is right for everyone, putting the greater good first. Luckily, everyone has a happy ending, showing that selfless deeds do bear rewards. Just like Elsa, Anna has grown and goes through her own changes. From start to finish, we see Anna becoming a better and more capable version of herself, and it's great. I have to admit, Kristoff feels like a bit of a third wheel at times, if not most of the time. He's a lovely character who restores your faith in humble, decent human beings, but you can't help but feel like he got the short end of the stick. It seems Kristoff is always doing for others or playing second fiddle to Elsa when it comes to Anna's attention, and you can't help but feel bad for the guy. Giving him his own song where he can belt out about his feelings was a beautiful touch and let him have his own moment, which I thought was lovely. But at the end of the day, he is a good character and he does help and contribute most of the time. So even at the end when all has worked out, seeing how happy Elsa is for Kristoff and Anna, and seeing how happy Kristoff was to see that Elsa was okay, made them feel like a genuine family with love and care, and it's a family that just keeps growing. Olaf this time around is going all out on the jokes. I do feel it was a little overkill sometimes and not all the jokes landed, but the majority of the time I loved him and he did indeed make me laugh. In fact, it was Olaf who had one of my favorite scenes of the entire film. Olaf recapping the first film in the span of a minute was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. It was hilarious and poked fun at the first film, especially all the things I didn't like about it, so I loved it. They still, however, managed to turn him down when the time came and come through with the gut punch that had even little old me in tears. But I must admit, I cried for the majority of the movie. Didn't matter the scene, the tears were still falling. But this tends to happen to me whenever I watch animated films. I can't seem to stop the tears from pouring from my eyeballs, and I can't explain it. This is a huge reason why it's been so long since I watched an animated film. Consider me exposed. As I said earlier, aside from Let It Go, I wasn't a fan of the soundtrack to the original film, finding most songs to be forgettable. This soundtrack, however, was as equally superior as the film. Each song had a place and a purpose. The songs aided characters on their journeys. The songs were part of the story or helped tell the stories and helped us see into the character's mindset as we move forward, far more than last time. The songs were beautiful, the melodies were enchanting, and I love Into the Unknown in a genuine way and not a way where I feel ashamed like I did Let It Go. While Let It Go is terrific, I felt Into the Unknown had layers and really showcased Idina Menzel's vocal range, as did Show Yourself, which is officially my favorite song from the soundtrack. The use of vocals by Aurora as the voice was so brilliant. I had chills every time I heard her voice. It felt ethereal and lifted everything to greater heights, both in music and the story, and including it in the tracks as backing vocals was brilliant. If I were ever to describe the sound of magic and ice magic, Aurora's voice would be it. The animation this time around is phenomenal. The colors are the most enchanting things I've ever seen, like walking through Disneyland at Christmas time, not that I've ever done that. The color palette and the way they complement each other felt like they were inspired by the Aurora Borealis, that natural magical beauty that we find in the universe. They didn't pull any punches, not even in the looks of the characters. Several costume changes and each one was so perfect they had even me wanting to cosplay as these characters, though I doubt I could pull it off. Department stores are going to make a killing over the next couple of years, that's for sure. Frozen 2 is here to dominate. Trust me, I just went shopping and Frozen 2 was freaking everywhere. While I loved how they expanded the magic in this film and how they made it look, especially how they made Elsa's powers even more magical, what I thought was one of the best scenes was the flood. That animation looked real, I kid you not. For a split second, I forgot I was watching an animated movie and thought I was watching a real flood of water bounding around this cliff. It was truly incredible to say the least. I love the animation, the level of artistry that went into this film makes my heart sing. But now we've gotten to the spoiler portion of this review, as I must dive into elements, no pun intended, of this story that has my brain very confused. I will try to keep my thoughts coherent, but I make no promises. While I do love this film and its story, it has some plot holes. The film gives us a great deal of backstory to the characters, the kingdom, and the overall mythology to their world, which I couldn't be happier about, but as happy as that makes me, and as great as that makes this film, they don't quite work in conjunction with the previous movie. In this film, Iduna comes from the Enchanted Forest, she grew up around magic, she knew all about it and how beautiful it was and had respect for it, but in the first film, Iduna and her husband Agnar instructed their daughter to hide her abilities, taught her to feel shame for her gifts, and then set off on a journey to find answers to her gifts, which resulted in their deaths. If they knew about magic, especially Iduna, then their actions in the first film make little sense. Knowing now that Elsa's gifts were a gift from the elemental spirits for Iduna's selflessness, the fact Iduna never figured this out doesn't add up. What also doesn't add up is Iduna's shawl, or more specifically, what it reveals about the fifth spirit. Characters tell us the shawl is a mark of a very old and special family among the Northuldra tribe, and one even points out the pattern on the shawl consists of the 4 spirit elements brought together by a fifth spirit. How did everyone know about a fifth spirit before the fifth spirit ever existed or ever needed to exist? Up until that time in their lives, the spirits lived in peace until they turned angry and until Iduna saved Agnar. So I can't help but sit here scratching my head wondering how all these things came together. In the flashback at the start of the film, Agnar says he never knew who saved him, but later on we see a memory where Iduna tells him she must tell him the truth of her past, but we're not sure when that memory took place. My final head scratch again is about the fifth spirit. If the spirits gifted powers to Elsa, making her the fifth spirit that would restore balance, why were they so angsty towards her? If they gave her her gifts, you think she wouldn't have to work so hard to prove herself to them. For the sake of the story and character development, it makes sense, but in the other regard, I'm a tad lost. I was sure at many moments that the voice would be revealed to be the fifth spirit, but it was the voice of the memory of young Iduna, which is sweet, but I don't get it. Why did the voice only sing out to Elsa now? Why not 6 years ago when Iduna and Agnar died? Or even 3 years ago after Elsa had just embraced her powers? Elsa awakens the elemental spirits, but only after hearing the mysterious voice coming from Ahtohallan. I wish I could understand. The 4 element spirits, earth, air, fire, and water, I can understand those and they are very in my wheelhouse, but how do you end up having a 5th spirit whose power is ice and snow? That seems like a random choice in my mind. I'm sure many people will see this as me nitpicking, but this is just how my brain works. I can't help noticing these things, and when I do, they frustrate me to no end until I get answers. I stand by that this story is superior to the first film in every way and a vast improvement, but when you put the 2 films side by side, they don't link up very well in terms of backstory and mythology, and if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Mythology is a big deal to me. Are children going to notice this and care? Probably not. I probably would have, because that's the kind of child I was. Did it prevent me from loving this film, the animation, its characters, and its music? No. Did it stop me from crying way too much over its beauty? Again, no. I adored this, and my issues with this film don't change that. They're just things I feel I must point out, as they did bug me. So if I haven't made it clear enough, I loved Frozen 2 and am officially a converted Frozen fan, and I'll fight my nieces for the title. I have been listening to Show Yourself and Into the Unknown on repeat. I cannot get enough. I've taken a break from listening to Giants on repeat, which is not from Frozen. It's it's a League of Legends thing. I've been listening to that on repeat, and now I'm taking brief moments where I listen to this, but then I'm listening to Show Yourself, then I'm listening to Into the Unknown, then it's back to Giants, and oh my god, I get emotional just hearing Show Yourself. I think Idina Menzel, I have loved her ever since I first learned who she was when I listened to the original Broadway recording of Wicked, which must have been, I'd probably say over 10 to 15 years ago, maybe more. I'm gonna say about 15 years ago. So, and then of course, hearing her in Rent and so many other things. She has such an incredible voice and presence, and she did such a great job with Let It Go. And the only reason why I felt shame for liking it is because at the same time I like it and it's a good song, but I was also kind of really sick of it at the same time. It's really hard to balance those two feelings. But this time around, Into the Unknown is powerful, but Show Yourself is, it's very emotional. It's a very powerful song, and I did read some articles saying that it's the new gay anthem, and I was just like, really? And then I was actually reading the lyrics as I was listening to it. I do that with any song that I like to know the lyrics. I don't like messing up lyrics. And I was listening to it, and I'm like, reading it, I'm going, yeah, okay, I can see how the lyrics would lend themselves to a gay anthem. So, hey, many Disney songs over the years have become gay anthems, and I don't think Let It Go would be considered one of them, but Show Yourself definitely has made its way there, which I think is a sign of a good Disney film. If the gay community has decided to declare one of your songs its anthem, you done good. You done good. That's my opinion. I mean, what else is there to say? So I did end up playing Into the Unknown when I got home from taking my niece to see the movie, and she was, as soon as I started playing it, she was immediately trying to sing along, though she didn't know the words. So I gotta say, Frozen 2 has nailed it. I was not expecting to love it. I didn't even think, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna walk away and I'm not gonna like anything. I'm not gonna like the characters. I'm not gonna like the songs. And here I am, like, I kind of want to watch it again, which is so good. It's so good because it has been so long since I have watched an animated film. I love animated films, and I've grown up watching them, but it's been a while since I've watched one. And I do mean quite a while, at least since I've watched any new animated films. I've watched plenty of old ones, but I don't know, mostly because I find them hard to get into, or I'm not a fan of the music, or I know that I'm going to be crying my eyes out and I just don't feel like it. Disney animated, or just animated in general, just makes me very emotional. Just sit there crying. I'm like, oh my god, they said something nice. What on earth is I gonna cry? Like, oh my god, they had magical powers. Like, I cry over freaking everything. It's insane. And then if something sad happens, that's just traumatic. It's like Mufasa all over again. So it's been I feel like that little kid in me has just, oh god, it's just kind of given me happy vibes inside, made me all warm and fuzzy. So Frozen 2, you get 2 thumbs up from me. You converted me. I didn't like you before. In fact, I've recorded a collab that is going to appear on LC Screen Talks channel sometime this month, I think. And in that, you're gonna hear me bitch about Frozen. So it's really funny that if you go to that video, you'll see me bitch about Frozen. And then you come here and I'm praising Frozen too. Things can change, and opinions can change, and movies can change, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. But I'm gonna stop going on and on and on. I thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed and you've watched a few of my videos, maybe subscribe, you know, stick around, become part of my little community, get involved, because I'm very pro community. That's just who I am. But if you have seen Frozen 2, then please comment down below and tell me what you thought about it. As always, thank you to my amazing, fantastic, brilliant, and every other adjective that I can think of, my patrons. I appreciate your support more than anything, and until my next video, bye!